Okay, guys, I'm out here sweating. I was out here blowing the yard, doing yard work, which is frequently whenever I have these thoughts that I need to tell you. Usually I go in and get all cleaned up. By the time I get in there, I've forgotten what it was that I was going to say, but this was important, so I wanted to stop and do it. I was thinking about religions and how much trouble they've caused, and I was trying to figure out a way of getting all the religions to come together. And then it occurred to me, religions will never work. The reason why religions won't ever work is because y'all think too much. Humans think too much when they're in a religion. And when you're thinking, it slows things way down, guys, way down. You've got to learn to feel, which is why you've got to know who you are. You've got to follow your own emotions. You've got to follow your own dreams. You can't worry about what everybody else is doing. That's why religions will never work. They need to be gone, out of here, completely. You're going to have to learn to trust your gut. You're going to have to rely on yourselves. You know what to do, right? And this whole service to self, service to others things, I think that's just a ploy. That's just a way to slow you down. I think it's a way to keep you in 4D. I really do. You cannot follow those thinkings, because trust me, when you're living in joy, you don't hurt people. You don't have to worry about it. Trust me, you don't hurt people. When you're doing things that make you happy, usually there are beings around you that are also happy with you. When you're mean, there'll be beings around you that are mean or being the brunt of being mean, okay? So you're going to have to learn to follow your feelings and get out of your head altogether. And that includes religions. That includes formalize just about everything they've taught you. You got to drop it all, lose it all, forget it all. Don't think about it. You've got to be in the moment. You know why? Because in 5D, when you get up when you start moving through the higher vibrations of 5D, there is instant manifestation. If you aren't on top of your feelings, if you can't control where they're going, you'd wreak havoc on 5D. You won't be allowed to be there. You simply won't. The other thing is this judgment thing. I'm going to do it too. This judgment thing. You've got to stop judging people. You've got to stop trying to fix people. You know what I've noticed? Service to others usually involves some kinds of judgment. And I can say that because I was 20 years a nurse, guys. 20 years. Now, I did assessments. I was taught to do assessments. So are doctors. What is assessment? I'm trying to figure out what's wrong. Well, that's a judgment. That's a judgment right there. More than likely, whatever you came into the hospital for, I was looking for what you did wrong that got you there. And I was going to try to teach you how to do it better. You know? We can't do that in 5D. We just can't do that. So if helping somebody without judging them, if you can do it, then that's wonderful if it makes you feel good. But don't do it for the other guy. That's what they mean whenever they say, do good things, but don't expect any kind of end result. That's what they're trying to say. They're trying to say, help the person, not so they can turn around and say thank you, not so don't teach them something so that implies that they're doing something wrong. Then help them because it feels good to help them, and move on. Move on. No judgment. No judgment. Because you've got to learn. Do you know what I learned the most on the other side? As far as what you would call telepathy, which really isn't what you think it is I learned empathy. Because when you know the whole picture of somebody's life, I don't care how bad it was, then you just go, I'll tell you what you do. You just go, oh, I get it. I get it. I might have done that too. That could be me. That's what you do. So we've got to be able to do that before we get to 5D. Otherwise, you're also going to be slammed with all these people's whole lives coming from 3D. And if you're in judgment, again, chaos. Not allowed. Not allowed. So you're going to have to stop with the religions. You're going to have to stop with the service to self, service to others stuff. You're going to have to stop thinking And whatever it takes to get you to feel, and that's the trouble with meditation. Meditation's wonderful to get you back centered and with no feeling. But then you need to come out in the world and you need to feel this stuff. Because going into 5D, you're going to feel everything. You're going to feel the plants. You're going to feel the animals. You're going to feel other humans. You're going to feel the aliens. You're going to feel the air. You're going to feel everything. So if you can't get a hold of your feelings here, then there's no way in 5D. There's no way. So I need you to understand that if you want to do something, then learn to get out of your heads and start feeling with your heart. Go moment to moment, day to day, living in your heart. Because if you're happy, you won't do bad things to people. Ultimately, in 5D, let me tell you, there will be no service to others, guys. If you're doing service to others and that's what you're going to take with you to 5D, you're not going to go. You can go to 4D. There'll be plenty of work in 4D for service to others, but not in 5D. 5D, we all take care of ourselves. We all create for ourselves moment to moment. Animals take care of themselves. Plants take care of themselves. The earth takes care of itself. We're all responsible for ourselves, and we know it and respect that in all entities. So you're going to have to become responsible for yourself. You're going to have to become responsible for your feelings. You're going to have to become responsible for your judgments. And you're going to have to get rid of them. And the best way to do that, in my opinion, when you're talking about other people, do the story thing. Did I put this in the other interview? This is so important. When somebody does something mean or you see something on TV that you don't like, make up a story around that person. Make up a story. Maybe they were, maybe it was a teenager who shot a bunch of kids at a school. Instead of saying, when they bring up he was tormented at school, he was judged, he was bullied, instead of saying, oh, that's not a good enough excuse. I've heard so many people say that. Well, you know, if you've got kids or if you know people, different people respond to different things differently. Some are tough as nails and can take a whole lot of shit like me. And some are just tender and they break with a word. I've got a son like that, you know? You need to take that into account. And instead of going, oh, that's no excuse, say, okay, what if that person was a tender-hearted soul? What if the home life was a terror? What if they never learned how to cope with anything? What if all the kids at school just carried on because they didn't have clean clothes, because they weren't what America thought that they should be? You can't tell me that it's not everywhere here in America, because it is. You know it. You can't tell me that if you're a child with no parental guidance and no coping skills, how you might snap and do that. Is it okay? No. Do I think it's a horrible thing? Absolutely. It's not the point, guys. Not the point. We all don't need lessons on whether or not it's okay to kill people. We already got that. What you're trying to get is to 5D. So your job is to take something that horrendous and not judge it. As a matter of fact, after you're through not judging somebody, let's go to unconditional love. Love that person. You want to know how you do that? You believe, you know that we are all creator gods, living an experience. And that creator God, those creator gods in those circumstances, know what they're doing. They did it for a reason, guys. They did it for a reason. So the first thing you need to do is start making stories up for these horrible things instead of going, oh, I would never do that, or oh, that's a terrible thing. Let's make a story of why it might be and give them some empathy. Learn empathy first. Let's all get some empathy. Hold the judgment back. Use some empathy. Make up a story if you have to. Then reach for, that God. I see the God in myself and others. Remember that whole namaste thing? Well, don't just say namaste, do namaste. And that means they're creator gods and they know what they're doing. Okay? But they started out with religions, and the reason why is because religions teach you to be the most judgmental of everything. And that's all religions. It's all religions. If it wasn't true, people wouldn't have been killing each other over this stuff for thousands and thousands of years. Isn't it enough already? Aren't you tired of it? Let's stop it. Let's stop it. The only reason you're mean to somebody, the only reason you shoot somebody, the only reason that you'd be anything bad to anybody is because you're judging them. We got to get rid of the judgment. Get rid of the judgment by having empathy. After you've had empathy and you really get it down, go to unconditional love. Then you can go into 5D. Without that, you don't stand a chance of creating instantaneously and of interacting with humans by connecting to them on a vibratory level that you can't even comprehend right now. You can't even comprehend it. Okay, well, that's 10 minutes in. I need to get back to work. The light is fading. I'll talk to you later, guys. Bye.